Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser here today with Carver coach Nathaniel Roche winning a second straight state championship with a different looking team this year to get back to the mountaintop, beat Madison Prep in the state championship game, and come away with another memorable season overall for the Rams. And congratulations again to you guys, coach, for getting that done, and congratulations again for the coach of the year recognition just a few days or a week or so ago. Appreciate you for taking some time to chat through all of it with me, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me here.
So, I mean, take me to the start of building to this, at least in the sense of you guys graduate that fantastic senior class from a year ago, and guys are heading D1 and some high major D1 schools. And I think a lot of the expectation from the outside was it's going to be a little bit of a rebuilding year. What do you go into some of those early conversations and training and whatnot with the guys? What are some of those conversations like for y'all to start that ball rolling back to what y'all were able to accomplish in back-to-back years?
Being at this program at 7 years as a head coach, we have a lot of kids that come in as freshmen, and we just start the belief cycle there. And just having, a group of kids, a group of seniors that go out there and get the job done the previous year with returning some kids, a core group of kids, just helping them understand that the job is not yet done. It's not the end of the road, and we start the process over with letting them know that we got everything that it takes inside of this room, inside of this locker room to go out there and do it again, but it starts with hard work. So just getting those kids to buy into the process and believe in the program.
Y'all had some ups and downs at points in the regular season. Were the guys pretty level-headed and on track throughout that? Were there some frustrating moments where everybody had to kind of regroup? And when did it kind of seem like things clicked and y'all were starting to hit your stride and be the type of consistent team that wins in February and March?
Like I said, it was some kids that have been in the program, but definitely in some new roles. And I think for them, they had to understand early on that growth is uncomfortable. Being in a position where you're playing more than you did a year ago, the expectation is higher. So throughout that process, it was rocky. It was a lot of ups and downs. I think, being able to always bring them back to, we have a really good team. If you work hard, those type of things going to take care of yourself, and just constantly look at our mistakes and try to minimize those in our next games. I think we started to see a change as we got into district, and we saw more of that in playoffs and the state finals as well.
A guy like Jalen Hicks, how big was he this year? He has an all-state caliber season for y'all as a senior leader. And just, having a guy like that you have that rapport with, how big is that to have that kind of leadership on the court when you are going through somewhat of a transitional year?
Jalen's been a starter for the last 2 years, I want to believe. I know he started that year with Solomon and Dorian. And he's always been an amazing talent. Even as a freshman, he had a great skill set. I think him this year was more so taking on the identity of being that guy, being a leader, being the go-to kid down the stretch, carrying us, putting us on his back. So to see how he transpired this year, especially at the end of the state finals, was amazing. We talking about a kid that had a groin injury. The beginning of the season, missed 5 games. We talking about a kid who came back from that, his house caught on fire, and he had to play through that adversity. So seeing him play as well as he did and watching him get all the awards that's coming to him is a great feeling. And it's a true testament to why we do this work and we continue to push forward.
And you had posted on Twitter recently about the significance of seeing, as much as you love having success and going to win trophies, to see guys like a Jalen Hicks get that college opportunity that he recently signed to go play at that Alcorn State. Just balancing that to be able to make sure you're having the success at a really high level with the high school team, as well as seeing these guys get opportunities at the next level. Just kind of talk me through some of that as a coach, finding that balance of of great high level team success and also some individual opportunities to keep things moving on to the next level.
Yeah. I always thought about, the saying that I had with a conversation with a previous coach, Brian Simmons, and we talked a lot early on when I first started coaching. And he helped me understand that it's two ways that people measure their success when it comes to basketball program. Some people measure it by wins, losses, and championships. Other people measure it by, how many kids they get to and through college. So I think for me, winning is not the most important aspect of my program. It's more so along the lines of getting kids to college, whether it's athletic scholarships or academic scholarships. I think we pride ourselves every year on like how many kids we put in college, and that's the most important thing for us, just setting a standard, um, and just exceeding that expectation of, this is a program that's going to put kids in college, whether it's for basketball, we got kids that go to Xavier and major in medical, kids that go to Lafayette and major in business. So that's how I want to be able to like gauge my wins when we talk about success.
Another guy that garnered some all-state consideration this year. We talk about Jalen being the senior veteran leader. You guys have Dejan Leatherman that's coming up as a sophomore for y'all that ends up being such a huge piece of the championship run this year at a young age. How have you seen him continue to develop? I mean, since you've had him and certainly during the course of the last few months to be someone that folks were really buzzing about coming out of that state tournament.
He just comes in every day, man, and he's open to do the work that we ask of him. He's been in a program going on 2 years now. We had him last year as a freshman, and we had to work a lot on, his balance, his footwork, his speed, his endurance, and we just pushed him, man. I got some wonderful guys on staff that is not afraid to get on him and make him understand, how good he really can be. I think that he buys into everything that we saying, being as though we have a bunch of coaches on the staff that's played the game at a high level. But he's growing at a rapid rate, and I see him doing great things in the future.
As you guys get into those late stages of the playoff run, y'all are a defending state champion, but the slightly lower seeded team going on the road to a Hannon that is itself a defending state champion, and then going to state tournament against the 2 seed Peabody and 1 seed Madison Prep that I think a lot of folks had looked at as a favorite to win a title for a lot of this season. Do y'all, I guess, in terms of messaging to the kids, do you talk about, this is a championship level program, those numbers don't mean anything? Do you take on an underdog type role? Do you ignore all of that regardless? How did you kind of approach some of that with the guys during that final week or so of the season?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, with having success comes, challenge. And I think that we had already established ourselves last year as a premier basketball program in the state. And coming back, a lot of people thought that it would be a rebuilding year for us. And just helping those kids like bring all that into the fold. Like, it's some people out there that believe that we can do it. And there's also some people that didn't believe that we would be here, like hands down, believing what others don't is what got us to that moment, believing that we the best team in the state of Louisiana, believing that we have the best coaching staff in the state of Louisiana. We trusted each other and we worked together to accomplish that goal.
So you guys win that one on March 11th. How quickly do you start talking to the guys that you'll have back about just keeping things rolling now moving forward? Because you do have some nice pieces coming back. You have a long way to go before next season tips off, but how early do some of those conversations start happening?
We haven't begun to have them yet, just kind of give our guys some time off to, get settled in their AAU programs, get settled on the circuit. And we looking forward to starting pretty soon.
What should folks expect to see from you guys this year? I mean, obviously the expectation for y'all now is to compete at the highest level year in, year out and be a championship caliber program. But some things potentially change here and there, for for a championship caliber team from season to season, just based on personnel and maybe doing some things a little differently? Do you have any early sense of is the team going to look similar from an identity and approach to things on the court wise, or is it going to be a little bit of a different look?
Absolutely. Expect us to always play Carver basketball. People that follow us, they know exactly what that is. It's been that way for 7 years. The last 4 years, we've been fortunate enough to make it to the state tournament. The last 3 years, we've been fortunate enough to make it to the championship 3 years in a row. So expect the same type of basketball from us.
There you go. And I don't think people will be able to underestimate y'all. Anybody that was doubting y'all this year learned a lesson, I think.
Absolutely.
He's Coach Roche from Carver, and I certainly appreciate, again, kind of chopping it up a little bit, taking us through the journey back to the mountaintop, back to back years as state champions, and for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jared Roser.